Cinderella. Deep within the quiet corners of a grand but crumbling manor, Ella spent her days turning embers into warmth. The world outside remembered her family name, but inside these walls, she was just the girl covered in ashes. Yet, as she swept the cold stone floor, her spirit remained completely untouched by the soot. The peace of the morning never lasted long. Heavy footsteps and sharp voices always shattered the quiet, bringing the heavy weight of endless demands. Her stepmother and stepsisters ruled the manor like a tiny, unforgiving kingdom, making sure Ella knew her place was always at the very bottom of it. Everything changed when a royal messenger brought a spark of excitement from the palace. An invitation arrived, welcoming every young maiden in the province to a grand harvest festival. For the stepsisters, it was a chance for royal titles, but for Ella, it was a distant dream of a completely different life. Locked away in her small attic room, Ella held the only piece of her mother she had left. It was a simple dress, worn at the edges but filled with beautiful memories. While her stepsisters bought expensive fabrics, Ella decided to use her own hands to repair the old gown, determined to bring its faded beauty back to life. The night of the festival arrived, filling the manor with loud excitement. Downstairs, the family stood ready in their costly dresses, completely wrapped up in their own vanity. They looked toward the stairs, waiting to see if Ella would actually dare to join them, ready to crush her hopes before the night even started. When Ella stepped onto the staircase, the room fell completely silent. She wore her mother's dress with quiet grace, her heart beating fast with a mixture of fear and excitement. For a brief moment, she felt beautiful, visible, and ready to experience the world outside her prison, completely unaware of the cruelty waiting for her. The illusion of happiness shattered in a single moment of cruel jealousy. Anastasia and Drizella tore at the dress, claiming the lace and beads were stolen from their old trash. In seconds, the beautiful memory of Ella's mother was reduced to rags, leaving her stranded in the hallway as the carriage rolled away into the night. Running blindly into the dark garden, Ella collapsed onto a stone bench beneath the weeping willow tree. The weight of her reality finally broke her spirit, and she let her tears flow freely into the dirt. For the first time in her life, the small spark of hope she kept inside felt completely extinguished by the darkness. The gentle light did not come from a bug, but from a kind, elderly woman who appeared from the shadows of the willow tree. The weaver smiled warmly, her eyes crinkling with a motherly sweetness that instantly made the cold garden feel safe. She did not offer pity, but instead offered a gentle reminder that tears can water new beginnings. The weaver waved her wooden spindle, and a soft golden light rolled across the grass like morning mist. A large pumpkin in the garden patch began to stretch and reshape, its rough orange skin smoothing into a polished, elegant carriage. Ella watched in complete silence, realizing that magic was real, gentle, and filled with second chances. With another gentle turn of the spindle, Ella's torn dress transformed into a beautiful gown that felt lighter than air. It wasn't loud or boastful, but elegant and true to who she was. The weaver handed her 2 small glass slippers, warning her with a warm smile that the magic would fade at the stroke of midnight. Inside the Grand Palace ballroom, the Harvest Festival was in full swing, filled with loud laughter and heavy velvet dresses. Prince Kit stood near the center, politely greeting guests, but feeling completely out of place among the artificial smiles. He longed for something real, wondering if anyone in the kingdom saw him for who he actually was. The heavy wooden doors of the ballroom opened, and Ella stepped into a world she had only ever imagined. The loud chatter of the crowd suddenly softened into a quiet hum as she moved forward. For the first time in her life, she did not feel like a hidden servant, but a young woman stepping into her own light. Kit noticed her immediately from across the crowded room, drawn by a warmth that felt completely different from the stiff formality around them. When he offered his hand, Ella took it with a gentle smile. As they began to move together, the Grand Palace seemed to fade away, leaving only 2 honest souls finding a real connection. Away from the loud music of the festival, they found a quiet stone bench in the palace courtyard garden. They did not talk of royal titles or family expectations, but shared simple stories of their favorite places and hidden dreams. In the cool night air, Ella realized that the prince was just as lonely as she had been. The heavy sound of the palace clock began to strike, breaking the quiet magic of the courtyard. The first deep chime echoed through the stone arches, sending a sudden jolt of fear through Ella's heart. She looked down at her glowing glass slippers and realized her time had completely run out, forcing her to flee without a word. Rushed down the massive palace steps as the midnight bells continued to ring loudly in the dark night. In her hurry, one delicate glass slipper slipped from her foot and bounced down the cold stone stairs. With no time to stop, she left it behind, desperate to reach the garden before the magic disappeared completely. By the final chime of midnight, the beautiful carriage and elegant gown were gone, leaving only the quiet reality of the dusty kitchen. Ella sat on the stone floor, her breath heavy, dressed once again in her old patched apron. Yet, as she looked at the single glass shoe in her hand, she knew the night was real. The prince searched every corner of the kingdom, looking for the honest connection he had felt at the Harvest Festival. When his carriage pulled up to the crumbling manor, the heavy air felt thick with hidden secrets. Kit carried the glass shoe like a key, determined to find the true owner before the sun went down. Cruelty locked the door, but it could not lock away destiny. Hearing the royal carriage arrive, the stepmother quickly forced Ella up the steep stairs and turned the heavy iron key. Locked in the dark attic, Ella felt her heart sink as her family down below prepared to present their own false smiles to the prince. Downstairs, the parlor became a stage for desperate vanity. Anastasia and Drizella pushed and squeezed, trying everything to force their feet into the delicate glass shoe. No matter how much they pinched or twisted, the slipper refused to fit their false shapes, remaining a perfect reminder that true grace cannot be forced. While the stepsisters failed below, small acts of kindness returned to save Ella. The tiny mice and birds she had protected for years worked together, pulling the heavy key through a gap in the floorboards. With a soft click of the lock, Ella's kindness broke her chains, opening the door to her freedom. Just as the prince turned to leave the cold manor with a heavy heart, a quiet voice stopped him. Ella stepped into the hallway, her clothes covered in dust and her cheeks smudged with ash. The stepmother tried to block her path, but Kit pushed past, his eyes locking onto the honest gaze he had been searching for. Though her stepmother tried to hide her away, true light cannot be buried in the dark. When Ella stepped forward, the dusty parlor seemed to grow bright. Kit did not care about her stained apron or the ashes on her cheeks. He saw her eyes, and as the glass shoe slipped perfectly onto her foot, the search was finally over. Ella left the old manor behind, not for a grand crown, but for a life where she was finally seen and loved for exactly who she was. Together with Kit, she built a home filled with real laughter, kindness, and open doors. The ashes were gone, but her gentle spirit remained, lighting up the entire kingdom.